Rams at Seahawks, Sunday Night Football. This is deciding the NFC West. Marco, who do you like and why?
This is the game we've waited for all year. This is a game that, for this one game Sunday, I'm taking Seattle. But just before we went on air, I told you if these two teams played 10 times in a row, St. Louis is probably going to beat Seattle at least 6 times out of the 10.
At Seattle, laying 3?
Yes. This team is a better team. They've got better talent.
Well, hold on a second. Laying 3 at Seattle means they're 6 points better on a neutral.
Correct.
So clearly they're the better team. Are they more than 6 points better?
I believe talent-wise, top to bottom, they are, but they're a young ball club. And this is such a pressure situation for this club to go on the road in a hostile environment. Seattle looks like they're going to be using the backup quarterback, Whitehurst, because...
What's the drop-off between those quarterbacks?
Between Hasselbeck and White, it's tremendous.
All right.
Okay, so it is a big drop-off. There's still a chance Hasselbeck could play. So this might be one of those game time,
Well, if it was a chance, I don't think this line would be 3 right now.
True. I can't disagree with that, but Seattle has looked so pitiful in the last 2 weeks. A lot of this movement, I think, public perception-wise, is anti-Seattle. I know one thing. The NFL doesn't want to see Seattle win this game because they don't want to see a sub-500 team in the playoffs. That's going to be
What does that mean?
Well, you got conspiracy theory. People think
do you agree with that?
No, I don't.
All right, so we shouldn't be talking about it.
But there are people that will talk about it.
People think the world's flat, too, but we're not going to give them time on pregame.tv. All right. I think this is a great lesson. Whatever we can take away from this game, it's a lesson. There's a difference between identifying a factor and then deciding if it's been properly accounted for. So I think you're absolutely right. On one hand, if I didn't know this line coming in, I would have gotten excited and say, listen, these teams are about even when you look at the records. I think the Rams are just a better team. They're trending up. They're young. They're whatever. And I would tend to agree with that. But then you look and you see that the Rams are laying 3 on the road with Seattle. And the one thing you can say about Seattle is they have a pretty good home field. You'd have to say top 10 of the league for sure when it comes to the home field effect that they have. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me this is at least the Rams 6 points better on a neutral. To me, that completely takes my gut feeling that the Rams are better and makes it where it's been accounted for. I mean, what could this line be? I mean, if you're laying 3 with the Rams, you got to think it should be at least 5.5. Mm-hmm. You're telling me that the difference between the Rams and the Seahawks, even with the backup quarterback, is similar to the Steelers and the Browns? The Steelers in a must-win spot. The Browns with no motivation. I mean, Genie's already out the door, and the Steelers are only laying 5.5 on the road. And when the Patriots went to Cleveland earlier in the year, not that long ago, which had been 6 weeks, and the Patriots were only laying 3.5. You're telling me that the difference between the Browns and the Patriots is similar to the Rams and the Seahawks? To me, maybe, but man, it's not more than that. So it's hard. To me, there's 2 possibilities here. This line's right or Seattle's got value. I think it's hard to say the Rams have any value at 3.
There's absolutely no value on the Rams at 3. And, factor in the last 2 weeks, Seattle has looked so putrid that public perception, anybody that's been backing them, and I can tell you that a couple weeks ago when they played Atlanta, and I was one of them, I was on them, a lot of sharp handicappers took Seattle as a home dog against Atlanta. It was a perfect situation, and people got burnt, and we've talked about it numerous times. When you play a team several times and you get burnt with them, you get a bad taste in your mouth. You don't want any part of them, and that's the way the betting public is on the Seattle team right now.
So just to recap, the lesson here is you can think that you've got you uncover something. In this case, the Rams are just a better team. But, boy, you better make sure it's not accounted for in the line. In this case, it is accounted for in the line. And you look at the Rams, 1 of 8 ATS against Seattle. Yeah, new coaches and all that stuff, but again, not a good history between these organizations. Seattle with maybe a better home field than most people realize. I don't know if I think the disparity between these quarterbacks is as extreme as you think, though that's, a subjective assessment. I think at 3.5, I love Seattle. At 3, I would lean that way.
I've got a weak vote for Seattle 20-17 to come out of here with the win and just be a disgrace to the NFL. We'll have our first team with a losing record hosting a playoff game next week.
It's a key to division play, though. All right, now it's your turn to continue the conversation in the comments section with Marco and me. And next up, we'll be talking another NFL Sunday game, Chicago at Green Bay.